This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, this is going to be very frustrating. I'm prepared to be really annoyed with the mainstream media. I know I shouldn't let it bother me. I know we should expect this from them, but they have a really tough job to do now, and they are ready to do it. They're bracing themselves for the latest bombshell from Tulsi Gabbard, proving that Barack Obama lied to the world and attempted to undermine President Trump in his first term. This just breaking, just released this morning from Tulsi Gabbard, another document previously classified that shows that Barack Obama ordered a change in the intelligence report. Why? Because there was no evidence that Donald Trump colluded with Russia. We know that. Everyone knows that now. And we're trying to find out why they kept pushing the narrative. Well, I think we know, because Barack Obama ordered it. This was directly from Barack Obama. This is just breaking. Tulsi Gabbard released declassified files showing the Obama intelligence community did not have any proof that Russia President Vladimir Putin wanted to help elect Trump in 2016, but published intelligence suggesting otherwise at the request of Barack Obama. There it is on the screen. It was all one big lie. The intelligence report was reportedly, quote, rushed out 2 weeks before Trump got sworn into office. CIA Director John Brennan, just a vile creature, an evil man, ordered the post-election publication of 15 reports containing previously collected but unpublished intelligence, 3 of which were substandard, containing information that was unclear, of uncertain origin, potentially biased, or implausible. And those became the foundational sources for the ICA judgments that Putin preferred Trump over Clinton. They had no proof. They have no evidence. In fact, just the opposite. They knew this wasn't true, and they pushed it even after the election because they weren't content to attempt to defeat Trump. They wanted to undermine him. They wanted their friends in the media to run with this, and let's not let them off the hook for 1 second. They knew they had a compliant media, a Trump-hating media. They would run with this. That wouldn't dig deep. They wouldn't ask for proof. They just heard Obama and Clapper and Brennan and Schiff and every one of these bad actors say Trump was colluding with Russia. Trump was a Russian agent and Russian asset. And they ran with it over and over again, daily, nightly. That's what they led with on a nightly basis. It led to a special prosecutor. It led to a 2-year drama where they said definitively Trump is a Russian asset. And every single time they said it, they knew it wasn't true. Barack Obama knew it wasn't true. And he didn't care. He hated Trump that much, like everything else that in the political world over the last 8-10 years, it was driven by a abject hatred for the 45th and 47th president. That's the only explanation. Barack Obama is a duplicitous liar. We must understand that. He's an actor. He's not a good man. He's not an honest man. He knew this wasn't true, and he pushed it because he wanted to destroy his successor. He sat in the Oval Office and said, we're going to do everything we can to help you in a smooth transition, and we wish you well. That was one big fat lie that by this phony, by this fraud who knew what he was saying nightly, daily. He knew it wasn't true. Brennan knew it wasn't true. We'll get to the list, by the way. Everyone, all of them, Loretta Lynch, Brennan, Clapper, Samantha Power, Ben Rhodes, every single one of them knew it wasn't true, and we have proof. Tulsi Gabbard just dropped it this morning. Here she is last night with Rob Schmidt on Newsmax teasing this announcement or teasing this evidence that just came out this morning. Go ahead.
We will be releasing further documents tomorrow that will refute that statement. And I would go back and point to, and we will be pulling a whole host of statements that were made by the Obama administration, by Hillary Clinton, by senior Democrat officials, by their friends in the media that state over and over again after this January 2017 manufactured intelligence document was created, that repeat the narrative. And I'm looking at my notes here. New York Times says Russian hackers acted to aid Trump in the election. Obama's CIA Director John Brennan says there is strong consensus among us to support the CIA claim Russian hackers aided Donald Trump's election. Hillary Clinton said, I would be president if not for the Russian hackers supporting Donald Trump. So there is a vast body of evidence and intelligence that debunks and refutes this statement you've just read and others coming from some of the Democrat leaders in Congress today.
Hackers, that's the word, hackers. They hacked the election. That means they hacked into the computers. They changed votes. That's what they said over and over again. That's a pretty serious charge. And it was never true. It was and they knew it was never true. And they pushed it because they were not only invested in trying to get Hillary Clinton elected to have Barack Obama's third term, but even when she lost, they said, we must derail him, cripple him before he even takes office. This report is just, I'm not sure if it's enough to get anyone in the corporate media to report it, because again, their job here is to circle the wagons around the Messiah. Their hero, their God is Barack Obama, and they cannot allow him to be sullied. Well, good luck with that. I just read this. It's incredible. We'll get to some of the highlights because this was classified. It's been declassified. So they buried it. They hid it from the public. And it states definitively that the whole group, the whole cabal was convinced Russian not only didn't hack, didn't affect, didn't influence the election. The report states, this is from Fox Digital, they have some pretty amazing details here. The report states that Brennan ordered the post-election publication of 15 reports, as I mentioned, that were substandard. The ICA, that's the intelligence report, misrepresented these reports as reliable without mentioning their significant underlying flaws. One scant, unclear, and unverifiable fragment of a sentence from one of the substandard reports constitutes the only classified information cited to suggest Putin aspired to help Trump win. That's the word Obama used. He aspired to help Trump win. He knew he didn't hack. He knew he didn't influence, so he aspired to help Trump win, which was false. The report states that the ICA failed to consider plausible alternative explanations of Putin's intentions indicated by reliable intelligence. The committee found that 2 senior CIA officers warned Brennan that we, quote, don't have direct information that Putin wanted Trump elected. Despite these warnings, Obama moved to publish the ICA claiming the opposite, that they had information that Putin was attempting to get Trump elected. And it goes through these all the principals were interviewed by the House committee, which, by the way, was chaired by Adam Schiff, who I believe kept it under wraps. It goes through each and every report and all the flaws in it. But check this out. In 2020, the Fox Digital obtained declassified transcripts from the Obama administration's national security officials' closed-door testimony to the House Intelligence Committee. They interviewed everybody: Clapper, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, Samantha Power, and they all said under oath they had no evidence. These are the people who were pushing the lie after they went under oath before the House committee and said they had no evidence. And they literally have all the answers. Here's Clapper. I never saw any direct evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was plotting or conspiring with the Russians to meddle in the election. That's Clapper testifying in 2017. And then he went on TV every night and said Trump is a Russian asset. Loretta Lynch said she did not recall ever being briefed on that. We got, let's see, U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, according to the transcript, said, I'm not in possession of anything, not in possession, and didn't read or absorb information that came from the intelligence community. Do you have any information that Trump was conspiring with Russia? No, I do not. Rice was asked the same question. To the best of my recollection, there wasn't anything smoking, but there were some things that gave me pause, she said. I don't recall any intelligence or evidence to that effect. And Ben Rhodes, same thing. Every one of them. Andrew McCabe, that snake, same thing. Did not have any information or evidence to point to Russia colluding with Trump. Andrew McCabe says we've not been able to prove the accuracy of any of that information in the Steele dossier. These people are just scum. They are just vile. They did this. They sat there and watched as people went on TV, CNN every night, went on the Sunday shows, went on MSNBC and said, Trump is a Russian asset. And they applauded. Their scheme worked. They laundered it through the mainstream media nightly and hamstrung the Trump administration. And Trump is now, well, he always knew he wasn't a Russian asset, but now he knows he has the goods. He has the evidence, and he's accusing Barack Obama of treason. Now, I'm not sure it rises to the level of treason, but it's certainly unethical, illegal, unsavory. It's certainly a stain on the legacy of Barack Obama, and it calls for an investigation, and it looks like we're going to get it. Mike Johnson already said he would be willing to call Barack Obama before the House to answer questions. Here's Trump yesterday in the Oval Office holding nothing back. You knew he was going to go there. He's sick of Epstein, and he's ready. Think of what he's been through. Think of what they put him through. Think of the 93, felonies and the 34 counts in New York and the raid on Mar-a-Lago and the whole summer he spent in court for these phony charges. And now he knows he's got evidence. It's in black and white. He has it in his hand. Evidence of this scheme to stop him in his second term. This plot against the president. That's what this is. Here's Trump yesterday talking about Barack Obama.
Just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 in the election, they tried to rig the election and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. When we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified has been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
May I ask you about that?
You know what? He's right. He's right. It's criminal. They need an investigation. They put him through hell. You cannot, they will try, but if you're in the mainstream media, you cannot say you can't do this to a former president. It's not good for the country. After what they did to him, of course He's going to want an investigation. Of course, he's going to want accountability for all of these snakes. Ben Rhodes, Samantha Power, Loretta Lynch, Brennan, Clapper, Comey. It's time. They have done this. They have introduced lawfare into our system, and it's time that they face justice here. Barack Obama responded. Actually, not really. Barack Obama would never actually go on camera and respond. That's beneath him. He issued a statement. Oh, no, he didn't issue a statement. His spokesman issued a statement. Spokesman Patrick Rodenbush released a statement. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of the White House. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. That's from Barack Obama. Okay, did you order them to change the intelligence report, the intelligence assessment? Because that's the charge. You knew there was no collusion. You knew it. And even after the election, you ordered them to change it to make it appear Trump was the choice for Putin, and Putin did everything he could to get Trump elected. It's so, when you think about it, it's just so petty and cheap. You lost the election. You move on. You wish him well and you move on. But they couldn't stop. These people were so consumed with hatred. They had to try and stop him. And then, you know what? They did. They slowed him down. They crippled him. They had a special prosecutor that cost the taxpayers $40 million. And the public, at least Democrats, all believed them. They believed Trump was colluding with Russia. Here's a reminder. I want to play this. This is how it worked. And this is how they knew it would work. They knew their supporters, their friends, their allies in the media would run with this. They wouldn't dig deep. They wouldn't ask. They knew that many of the stories about Trump were hoaxes. They knew, everything, the fine people hoax, the losers and suckers hoax, the drinking bleach hoax. They knew that this was another hoax, and they didn't care. They, just like Obama and Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Rice, they knew the media hated him so much they wouldn't check, they wouldn't work, they wouldn't dig, they wouldn't report, they would repeat. That's what they did. Here's just one example. Here's how it worked on CNN, January 2019. This is, 2 years into Trump's first term, 2 years after the plot against the president was unfolded in the White House with Barack Obama and all his henchmen around him. They planned this in December of 2016. And here we were, January of 2019. This is CNN. Go ahead.
Today, the president of the United States denied that he's a Russian agent. And by the way, how extraordinary is this that the question even had to be asked in the first place? This is where we are.
I never worked for Russia, and you know that answer better than anybody. I never worked for Russia. Not only did I never work for Russia, I think it's a disgrace that you even asked that question, because it's a whole big fat hoax. It's just a hoax.
That is President Trump today pushing back against the bombshell reporting over the weekend that the FBI opened an investigation into whether or not he was working on behalf of Russia, specifically after the president fired James Comey as FBI director back in May of 2017.
This is a very grave matter. The fact that we're asking the question as you began this segment, is the president of the United States a Russian operative?
It's extraordinary.
Is it self-extraordinary? And this is this really getting to the truth, frankly, is more important than precedent or executive privilege.
You heard the president in front of the White House this morning saying that he has not worked for Russia. Do you think he's compromised?
Why did I have the eerie recollection of Richard M. Nixon saying to the national audience, you need to know if the president's a crook and I am not a crook?
Do you have any evidence? Do we have evidence?
Well, we're about to get some, aren't we?
About to get some evidence. That's 2.5 years after they threw that crap against the wall. 2.5 years later, a Democrat congressman And I would say, they should ask him about it again today, but they can't because he died. I believe that's Jerry Connolly, just another Democrat hack. And that host is Brooke Baldwin, I believe, just saying, isn't it extraordinary that we have to ask the question? Somewhere, Barack Obama was sitting in his oceanfront mansion in Hawaii. Comey was sitting in wherever in D.C. and Brennan and Clapper, they were saying, yes, it worked. It worked. We floated that out there, even though we knew we made it, or Hillary Clinton made it up, and we legitimized it. We knew it, and it doesn't matter because the media has done our bidding. Democrats in Congress are doing our bidding. It worked. We crippled Donald Trump. And that guy says he has no evidence, but we're about to get some. Well, we got some. Thanks to Tulsi Gabbard, who's doing a spectacular job. She released a tranche of declassified information yesterday and again today, and it's going to keep coming. And I don't think the MAGA base, I don't think 77 million Trump voters are going to be content to just say, well, it's good that we know the truth that they lied to us for three years. There needs to be accountability. There has to be the Trump team has to give the double middle finger to the media who are going to fight this every step of the way. Today, all the mainstream outlets are saying, oh, this is ridiculous, this charge, and it's baseless. It's baseless, their favorite word. Really? Did you read the document? Did you read the document I just read? Do you have an answer as to why Barack Obama ordered them to change the intelligence assessment in December of 2016? Can you answer that? Nicole Wallace, can you answer that? Rachel Maddow and Joe Scarborough and Stephanopoulos, can you answer? How about Stephen Colbert? Can Jimmy Kimmel, can they answer that? Why did they change the assessment? Why? Was it legitimate? Of course not. You know it. You understand that, but you're like the Obama team. You don't care. You just hate Trump so much. You're okay with lying. It all goes back to, if Trump is Hitler, if Trump's a threat to democracy, anything goes. All the rules are out. No rules, no standards, no norms. We must stop Trump. It is, again, the ultimate irony. The people accusing Trump of being a threat to democracy were trying to undermine him. We're lying. We're changing intelligence assessments to stop him, to hurt him. And they turn around and say, he's a fascist. He's a threat to democracy. Trump is right. Once again, Trump is right. Was he brash and cocky and using, accusing Obama of treason? Yes, he was, because he's fed up, because he knows what they did to him, and he knows they lost, he won, and now he's demanding accountability. And I don't want to get too excited because they've let us down before. Again, it's 6 months in, zero arrests for all the crimes we watched over the last 4 years, zero arrests for Fauci of the COVID, zero arrests, Comey, Christopher Wray, all these bad actors are still out there, still lying to us. They need to be held accountable, and maybe it's time. All I know is the media will continue to lie. This is the ultimate, Rubicon. They will not cross. They will do anything and everything to protect Barack Obama. They'll do everything to protect, Joe Biden and Adam Schiff and all the rest of these scoundrels. But this is the top of the mountain for them. They're never, ever going to turn on their hero, their messiah, Barack Obama, who we know is a liar. We know is corrupt. Did he commit treason? I don't know. We'll find out. Keep it coming, Tulsi, because this is fascinating, and it hopefully is just one more nail in the coffin in the mainstream media, because they lied to you every day. Every day they woke up and said, how can we push this phony Russian narrative? And they followed it up with lying about the laptop, saying that's Russian disinformation. These same guys, Brennan, Clapper, these same guys signed the letter, the 51 intelligence folks, so they could give Joe Biden some material in the debate. They lied about the laptop, the same people who lied about Russia. When are they going to be held accountable? When am I going to see one of them in handcuffs? I'd like it to be Comey, Brennan, Clapper, you name it. They have to be brought in. They have to be arrested. They have to be prosecuted, or it's over. They're going to do it again. I mean, the only answer to this is accountability, is prosecution. It has to happen, and I'm going to keep hoping it happens. All right, we got to get so much to get to here. Oh, man. The Democrats' favorite pro-Hamas agitator, Mahmoud Khalil, was on Capitol Hill yesterday, and Democrats fell over each other to get photo ops and meet and greets with this terrorist-loving scumbag from Colombia who should be deported yesterday. I don't even understand why he's still in the country. We'll get to that. And, of course, Sonny Hostin has a explanation of what the firing of Stephen Colbert, who lost $40 million a year, we've gone over this, who had, I haven't looked this up, I haven't verified this, but a fascinating factoid. Somebody claimed that there are 10,000 YouTubers out there with bigger audiences than Stephen Colbert, which means they have bigger audiences than Kimmel and Seth Meyers and John Oliver, all of them. 10,000 YouTubers with a little camera and a laptop who are getting bigger audiences than Colbert. And you know what it means? That Colbert got fired, is getting fired? It's a threat to democracy, says Sonny. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
If you've ever searched for your name or address on Google, it's shocking to find how many results have your personal information, and it's not by chance. Data brokers and people search sites, collect your personal information, your name, address, phone number, financial info, income, and hundreds of other records. They sell it and share it publicly without your consent. But Incogni is here to put an end to that. It hunts down these unethical sites and gets your info removed from the places that expose your private information. You don't have to email anyone, fill out forms, or jump through hoops. They handle the entire process for you. Incogni is also continually monitoring if your data is put back into these databases, requesting repeated removals. This way, it keeps them off there forever. So you get fewer spam calls, spam emails, and you get more peace of mind. And best of all, you can cancel anytime, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can get it completely risk-free. Right now, you get 60% off an annual plan by going to incogni.com and use code word Callahan. That's incogni, incogni.com/Callahan, and use the code word Callahan at checkout. You get 60% off and protect your data for an entire year. Before we get to Mahmoud Khalil and all this and everything else, I want to play this clip, though. It's just one more clip on the Obama scandal that's unfolding before us. This is remarkable. And to me, it's evidence, man. This was Clapper, who is just another vile creature, just a soulless monster who had real power. I mean, what was he? It was DNI. I mean, top spy. And he's just an immoral monster. Here he is talking with Anderson Cooper about, I guess the whole Russia investigation and from where it emanated. And I don't think he was supposed to say this to Anderson, his pal, but he did. You want to talk about damning evidence. You wonder why all these people who are supposed to be, these trusted public figures, working on behalf of the American people and protecting our country, why they all sold their souls. Again, Trump knows this. It all goes back to Obama. Listen to Clapper explain.
For President Obama, we might not have done the intelligence community assessment that we did that set off a whole sequence of events which are still unfolding today. President Obama is responsible for that, and it was he who tasked us to do that intelligence community assessment in the first place. It was he who tasked us to do that intelligence community assessment.
Whoa. He let the truth slip out there. I'm not sure he was supposed to do that. It was he who tasked us with the intelligence assessment. That would be the one they changed. They buried the first one and they published the second one saying there was indeed Russian interference in the election. That's not helpful. That's not helpful there, Mr. Clapper. All right, I want to do this before we get to Khalil. This was an amazing moment on Capitol Hill, July 16th. This was 1 week ago. Eli Crane, he's a congressman from Arizona. I believe he's a Navy SEAL, combat veteran, just a badass. Doesn't always wear like the proper suit. He dresses kind of weird, but he is an intimidating figure. And was questioning a witness her name is Hopper, Miss Hopper, and she is tasked with finding the missing children, the kids who went missing, who came over the border illegally, and unaccompanied minors, and they just stuck them with anybody. As she points out, it's easier to adopt a dog than to adopt an unaccompanied minor who came across the border, and they stuck them with sponsors, and they just lost them. They lost track of them. She's talking about a hotline they set up that they gave kids who came over the border unaccompanied, and then they stuck them with somebody with very little vetting, just said, okay, you go live with him. They gave them a number to call if they had any problems, any trouble, anyone was taking advantage of them, forcing them to work in a marijuana farm, or forcing them into hard labor, or abusing them. Here's a phone number. Call this number. You know what happened when kids called the number? No one answered. This is the Biden administration. These are Democrats who tell you any chance they get that they care about the children. Everything they do, it's for the children. They lost these children and they didn't care what was happening to these children. This was just an amazing moment. Got no coverage. Hell, I just saw it yesterday. This happened a week ago. Listen to this.
So you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we've talked about today, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline that they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with. And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered? Is that what you're telling this committee?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
$65,000 calls went unanswered. They left messages. One kid called the hotline and said his sponsor was touching him. And they didn't follow it up. The Trump administration did when they came into office. They followed it up. They saved the kid and they arrested the sponsor. They didn't answer the phone when kids called who were being molested. And they care about the children. I don't want to hear another Democrat tell me they care about the children. Oh, there are kids in cages. They're being separated from their families. Don't we care about poor kids? Kids are being deported. Does Trump have no shame? Does he have no soul? They left these kids in hell, and didn't give a damn. They didn't even answer the phone. It's just incredible. Anyone see that on NBC, CBS? Did Margaret Brennan have that woman on, have Miss Hopper on to talk about this? Did anybody apologize for allowing these kids to be abused? I mean, she literally says they found the kid, saved the kid, arrested the guy, and nobody even cares. It's like, yeah, well, we'll keep working on it. That's what the Trump team, aside from deporting, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua and just gang members and drug dealers, they're saving kids. They're saving children. And nobody seems to care that the Biden administration did this to these kids. No, Democrats are busy. They're busy. They don't have time to save children who are being abused. They're busy meeting with Mahmoud Khalil. You remember him? He's the 31-year-old Columbia student, not really a student, a professional agitator that we gave a student visa to, that we allowed into this country, and probably gave him everything. You think he paid for his tuition? Probably not. He's a Syrian national, and he's a Hamas-loving piece of garbage. He was on Capitol Hill yesterday, and Democrats rushed to meet with him. He met with 14 Democrats, took photo ops, including Ayanna Pressley, my repulsive congressman, and James McGovern, another Massachusetts congressman. They took pictures with him. Of course, Ilhan Omar and Jayapal and the rest of the squad couldn't run fast enough to meet with this guy who said his goal is to dismantle Western civilization. He hates this country and he's trying to destroy it from within. He was at protests. He was harassing Jewish kids. He's the worst of the worst, and he should be deported now. Why do we want? Can someone explain to me why you would want him in your country? Why would you bring in someone who hates the country and he wants to destroy it? I'll never understand that. But here he is on CNN yesterday, and they had a simple question. I'll give the host credit. Simple question. Will you condemn Hamas? Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas on October 7th killed 1,200 innocent people, including Americans. They're holding hostages still. They're savages. They are monsters. They're evil. Will you condemn it? Simple question. Yes or no? He can't answer. Listen to this.
Just to be clear here, though, do you specifically condemn Hamas, a designated terrorist organization in the United States, not just for their actions on October 7th?
I condemn the killing of all civilians, full stop. But what I don't want to get into is no, I am very clear with condemning all civilians. I'm very straight in my position in that part. But it's disingenuous to ask about condemning Hamas while Palestinians are the ones being starved now by Israel. It's not condemning October 6th, where 260 Palestinians were killed by Israel on before October 7. So I hate this selective outrage of condemnation, because this is not. This wouldn't lead to a constructive conversation. And this is also like what we want to deal with is the root causes of why that happened. And it's in no way anyone can justify.
Just to be clear, Mahmoud, we did ask about, we've talked at length about your views, of course, on the Palestinians, but it is fair to ask you about whether you condemn Hamas, because the Trump administration has claimed that you are a Hamas sympathizer. So it's very important to actually ask that question in this broad conversation.
Yeah, I simply asked and protested the war in Palestine.
He can't do it. He can't condemn a terrorist organization. He condemns the IDF. He condemns Israel. Hell, he condemns the United States of America. But he can't condemn a designated terrorist organization. And Democrats are fighting tooth and nail to keep him in this country, probably hoping he'll run for mayor, run for governor, run for Congress in New York. Hell, are his views any different than Kami Mandami? The next mayor of New York City is likely to hold the exact same views as this guy. And they're almost explicit in their support of a terrorist organization. And we let him, thank God Marco Rubio was on the case. And he says he looks forward to deporting others who are like this, are agitators and again, devoted to dismantling Western civilization. That's his explicit view. But all right, let's get to more. We got to get to this Jeff Daniels clip, but and we get Sunny. Oh, Sunny Hostin. She never fails. By the way, is The View on the chopping block? Do you think maybe Trump's going to pressure ABC to cancel The View, because they don't get big numbers either, and they sure do hate Trump, and maybe they're next. I think Trump's right. Jimmy Kimmel is next. Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, these guys, are losing money. They're costing the company millions. And if Colbert has to go, why does Kimmel survive? I don't understand. But anyway, let's do Sunny. Sunny is, of course, talking about Colbert being canceled. Again, what company? It's a public company. One guy, one show is costing them $40 to $50 million a year. The show costs $100 million a year. The host makes $15 million a year. I've worked in a few places. I mean, I've worked in radio for years. If you lost $1, you were on the endangered species list. That's how it works. They make that calculation. Is this show costing us money or making us money? It's amazing that Colbert lasted as long as he did. It's amazing Kimmel and Myers are still on the air because they're losing a fortune. But they're there not as comedians, not as hosts. They're there as voices of the resistance. They hate Trump. They hate this administration. And that's why. And they get access to Democrats who are on the show, on these shows all the time. And it was just a way to promote the Democrat Party, to promote the Biden administration when they were in office, and now to try to stop Trump. That's why they're on the air. They sure aren't there for laughs, and they're not there for entertainment, and they're not there to make money. But canceling one guy who, again, cost his company a fortune is you guessed it, threat to democracy. Here's the ever annoying Sonny Hostin.
But my concern is if it is political, then everyone should be concerned. People on the right should be concerned. People on the left should be concerned, because it's very clear that if it is political, this is the dismantling of our democracy. This is the dismantling of our Constitution, right? And so the First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason, and that is freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom to speak truth to power. If that is taken away, if the comedians are being attacked, then that means our Constitution is being dismantled. Right. That means the very rubric of our democracy is being dismantled.
Don't you love when really dumb people think they're saying something smart? The very rubric of our democracy, says Sonny. Our Constitution, our democracy is being dismantled because one left-wing hack who hasn't said anything funny in like a decade, whose ratings sucked, who had no revenue, who lost millions, is being terminated after years on the air. And that's the end of democracy, according to Sonny Hostin. Did she ever say that when, Tucker Carlson got fired? And he was making money. He was making the company a lot of money. And he got fired. Did she say that was the end of democracy? When any number of conservatives got canceled, got kicked off social media, got banned, got censored. Was that the end of democracy? When doctors, respected physicians, went on social media and questioned the vaccine or questioned anything Fauci did and got banned, suspended permanently. How about when Trump got kicked off Twitter, kicked off all social media platforms? Was that the end of democracy, Sonny? No, just because Stephen Colbert finally gets terminated. That's the end. That's the dismantling of our democracy. Man, these people live in a whole other world. Speaking of which, let's get to Lloyd. Is he Lloyd Christmas or is he Harry Dunn?
He's Harry Dunn. He's
Harry Dunn. And you know what? He was spectacular. In the funniest movie ever made is Dumb and Dumber. You can't watch it without laughing out loud. It was brilliant.
Completely.
And he held his own as with Jim Carrey. That can't be easy to do, but he was great. He was absolutely great, and I will never disparage that performance. Maybe he shouldn't do this. He shouldn't come out and speak about serious subjects. But this is remarkable. He's with Nicole Wallace, who apparently has a podcast. Jeff Daniels, the actor, sits down with Nicole, and he's a big Hollywood liberal, obviously, which means he's ill-informed and he's stupid and he's just emotional. Everything is about, how things make him feel. That's the way you have to be if you're a good Democrat. But he explains that, man, we missed an opportunity when Kamala lost to Trump. We missed the chance to have as president the next Abraham Lincoln. Listen to this.
I still think about Kamala and how I think she would have been a good choice. I don't care what they say, because she would have done what Lincoln did. Liz Cheney would have been Secretary of State.
Team of Rivals.
Yeah, Team of Rivals. Doris Kearns Goodwin wrote the book about it. That's what Lincoln did. Surrounded himself with the people who would disagree with him, not the people who would, take a knee and go, yeah, more tariffs, sir, more. It's the madness of King George. And just the deterioration of the Republican Party. I mean, look, I'm just an actor. What do I know?
Right.
But when Mitch started stacking the courts 25 years ago, I said it on your show once. They can see it coming. The new America that is diverse and treats everyone with equality and respect and dignity, kind of like Jesus did.
Oh my God.
We're ready for that.
And Mitch Abe Lincoln and Jesus. God, what an absolute fool. What a fool. I mean, Kamala Harris would have been like Abe Lincoln. Gotcha. And we're hoping she runs again, Jeff. Hope maybe next time Kamala Harris will get a chance. By the way, think of Trump's team. Robert F. Kennedy, Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat. Robert F. Kennedy ran against Biden and they wouldn't let him on the ballot. He might have been your nominee and he would have done a hell of a lot better than either Kamala or Joe Biden. But keep talking, Jeff. By the way, Dumb and Dumber doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit. He was so good. And I wasn't even in that one. I was in 3 Farrelly Brothers movies, and that wasn't one. And I will admit, that was the best one, the funniest one. All right, before we go, someone has to explain this to me. The Senate has gone on a 5-week summer vacation. That's it. No more bills to pass. There are more than 200 Trump nominees, including, I think, 50 judges, waiting for Senate confirmation, and the Senate's gone till September. Why? Trump is working every day. Aside from accusing Obama of treason yesterday, announced trade deals with Japan and Indonesia. This is big, and it's working, and the tariffs are working. Trump is getting stuff done, and the Senate just says, we'll see you in September. What? The Republicans in Congress are a disgrace. They really are. I mean, they have their moments, but they are a disgrace. Just going away. We'll see you later. Those people can wait till September to be confirmed. I don't get it. It's just wrong. But that will do it for today. Another wild day, just waiting for more bombs to drop by Tulsi, who's doing just a great job. Maybe Tulsi could be on the ticket with J.D. Vance in 2028. Tulsi with Vance against Hunter and Crockett. The crackhead and Crockett is still my hope for the Democrat ticket. That will be fun. Nothing from Hunter today. Got up today and I said, man, he's going to start doing interviews left and right. All these podcasts are going to be calling him up, trying to get him on because he's so wild. Nothing today, but we will see. He'll probably reappear any moment now because you know why? He thinks he did a great job. And Joe and Jill think he did a great job. That's what they wanted him to do, to just tear it all down, just set the whole thing on fire and come after everyone. And that's what he did. And he taught us how to make crack. I still haven't done that, Ironhead. He piqued my curiosity. I didn't know crack was good for you until Hunter explained it to me. So maybe I'll get to that this weekend.
I DoorDashed all the ingredients as soon as we finished the clip.
I mean, I got the baking soda and the lighter and water. He told me all I need was cocaine, right? That's it. Cocaine, baking soda, and water. And you can have a healthy alternative to alcohol. I'm starting to come around on Hunter. I'm starting to really enjoy Hunter Biden, unfiltered, unchained Hunter Biden. And we're going to see more from him. And I don't know, he swears more than I do, which I kind of appreciate, but we'll be waiting for it. But that will do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is the Callahan Show, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.